Let's start in Tuscaloosa. Jam Miller suffering an injury. It sounds like it is the collarbone. Comes out that he will be out for the foreseeable future. From some people I talked to over the weekend and from some folks we saw on the timeline as well that cover Alabama, it looks as if they believe he will be back in time for the Georgia game, which is a great sign. But, we'll miss the game against Florida State. We'll miss the game against Wisconsin. We'll miss some big early season non-conference showdowns. Bear, I'm going to ask you this. Hear me out. Could this actually be a blessing in disguise for Alabama if the rest of that running back room, Richard Young, guys like that, able to get reps? Because I think we feel pretty confident what Jam Miller is going to be. I feel, looking at it from a positive spin, other guys now can step up in that room that I know they're really excited about down there. And then you get the addition of Jam, and he's not out that long. Am I crazy for that? Or what'd you think when you saw this news?
I don't think you're crazy. What I will say is that it still is a blow. Like, again, Jam Miller was going to be your lead back. He was going to be a focal point of your offense. He was going to be a reason why you didn't have to break in Ty Simpson so early on to have these highlight moments against Florida State and Wisconsin. Just to feel like that, again, times are changing. We still have a good identity. We know that the things that didn't work last year are completely different. So, again, it was that blessing. But the thing is that if you know anything about Kalen DeBoer's 2023 Washington season, they went into the year with questions at the running back spot, and it was largely due to injury. They find a guy in Dylan Johnson. He comes and transfers on in from Mississippi State. He ends up having 1,000 rushing yards. He ends up having 10-plus touchdowns. Big reason why down the stretch they have a couple of highlight moments and they punch their ticket to the Pac-12 title game, eventually winning the Pac-12, getting their spot in the college football playoff. So there's like things that are eerily similar with this, to where your star running back or the running back that you thought was going to be your focal point gets hurt early on in the year. And now you have that secondary element. Maybe it is a Daniel Hill. Maybe it is a Dre Washington. Maybe it is a Richard Young. Who knows who that player is? But I can tell you that regardless, I'm not worried about the running back room. I think that it stinks that you don't have your feature back, but I wasn't worried about this news. Like, if you lose Ryan Williams, I think that there is reasons to have some concern of who is going to be that number one guaranteed guy. But I don't feel that way about this, because I still feel like that there was going to be a role for a Dre Washington. There was going to be a role for a Richard Young. There was going to be a role for a Daniel Hill. And we still could see that eventually when we get back at Jam Miller. But now we get to figure out what are the strengths and what are the weaknesses. And also, I'm just going to be completely honest. If you're struggling against Florida State, because if you don't have a Jam Miller out there, you have bigger problems than Jam Miller not being on the roster. If you have Wisconsin coming into your house and it's going down to the fourth quarter and their defensive personnel is making you have struggles at the quarterback position, you have bigger problems than Jam Miller being out there. Like that's just the bottom line, is that it stinks that you won't have him for the start of the season. You won't have potentially a 1,000-yard running back, but it's not the end of the world. And if he's the reason why that your team was going to be so good, your team really wasn't that good to begin with.
I agree with all the points you made, especially, again, Jam Miller. It is a blow. I didn't want to make it sound like it's, you're happy about it, but no. I do think it's an opportunity. All of a sudden, doors open up for some of those other guys in that room. But certainly, Jam Miller, you're going to need him. And I agree. If you're struggling without him, might be a bigger issue anyways, that we will identify early on. You should not.
Does your opinion change on that Georgia game with or without Jam Miller?
I mean, I think it has to affect it a little bit. I think it has to. Now, but it also depends on what do the other guys look like up to that point. But, yeah, you'd much rather would have him than not. That's an all-hands-on-deck game. You need to have your guys. So, I don't know. That's a good question. Like, how many points is Jam Miller worth? Now we're kind of talking the gambling side. Like, is he
worth a touchdown?
Is he worth enough to change the result of the football game? Maybe.
What's going to be interesting to me is to see how these other running backs kind of step on up. Yeah. And I'm not saying that they end up having 200 rushing yards and they're averaging 175 against Wisconsin and Florida State. I'm saying, is there a dude that you feel like, hey, the Vanderbilt game is where we're going to get 100% Jam Miller. This game against Georgia, it's going to be a running back by committee. Third down approach, we got to go with this guy. Passing down, we got to go with this dude. Early downs, we're going with this guy. That's what I'm wondering, because I don't think that Jam Miller is going to be at 100% when you go into that game in Athens. I just don't.
Safe to say, Bear, well, that's the thing. You better be at 100% when you play Georgia, because you're going to get beat up in that game. if he's not 100%, I don't know if you tried him out there because he certainly ain't going to come out of the game at 100%, right? So it'll be interesting to see and kind of track and monitor. They got other guys in that room they're excited about, but certainly you wish the best for Jam. Hopefully he's back sooner rather than later.